What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dean, aka the Blue Crusader, and today we're going to be reviewing the CraftCitizen survival server, which is a server on Minecraft with some RPG and adventure fantasy style elements. So without further ado, let's jump into the server tour. To begin, what we're going to do is we're going to do /warp tutorial, which will take us to the area of the server where we can perform the tutorial, and it'll give us a bit of a demonstration and tour of the features and what we do when we first join. So this is the tutorial area. This will be the area that you're first greeted with when you join the server. So as you can see, there's some really nice signs over here, and it shows you some of the commands on a few of these graphics. Now the reason why everything looks so nice and there's so many custom elements and different pictures around here is because when you first join, it will actually prompt you to download a custom resource pack, because obviously none of this can be performed in vanilla Minecraft. So over here we have a welcome sign, and it says that we can do /wild or warp wild to access the first area in survival mode. So we can open the live map if we type in /map, and that will actually bring up the website. Basically this shows a real-time map of player positions and where everybody is online. It's basically a web map which showcases all of the server. What I do like about this server is there are custom NPCs, and there's quite a lot of regular players who already play on the server and helpful staff that can tell you what to do if you need any help. Now, linking your account on Discord to join the server will also get you $300 to start off on the server to buy items with, so that's also something you want to do. Join the community as soon as you get on the server. If you do /kits on any server, including this one, you can actually claim a few different kits at the start of the game, which are peasant, boat, book, and stick. So make sure you claim any kits which you haven't got. Then they do also have a store. This is not a pay-to-win store. This server doesn't do that, which is a really good feature, because I really don't like servers where people get an edge if you just spend money on them. So if you do /store, you can also go to the store, and all the store items will help players online, or they're entirely cosmetic and just change how you look. So we can go over here, we can go onto the ranks for an example, and we can take a look at the ranks on the server. We have 1 month donator rank and the donator lifetime rank, and if we click on these, they will show us what you get. So for an example, you have coloring and formatting on signs, you have special Discord channels, you have a special donate house blueprint, and recolor, which lets you change the colors of certain blocks like wool, concrete, terracotta, and glass, and a special alias and prefix colored username in game. So all these features you get are not going to make you do more damage or more overpowered than other players, which is something which is a really good feature. Then this server, since it uses a custom resource pack and custom models and elements, you can actually buy skins. So you can have different skins like this barstool skin, which changes how your diamond sword looks. And they're constantly adding new skins to the server. For an example, instead of a shield, you can have an opening umbrella, which is pretty cool as well. So all of these are obviously cosmetic. These are just vanity items that you can buy. And you can get this awesome angel looking set, or these warglaives of Alanor, which look like they come from World of Warcraft. So there's some really cool stuff you can get on here, but it's not mandatory, and it doesn't change how you play the server or how powerful your character is. So if for any reason you've finished the server spawn area and you want to return, you just need to type in /warp tutorial, and it will return you to the tutorial area where you can actually start learning about all the features on the server again. This is really useful if you skip reading all the signs and you jump straight into the action. There's also warp tutorial hub, which will take you to the exact same place, so you can use /warp tutorial or /warp tutorial hub. Then if we want to go into the world, we will use the wild warp. Now there is actually a portal at the edge of the spawn here. Now if we walk into the blocks, it will actually send us into this spawn area here, which we're just going to show you a little bit later. If we want to access wild warp, we can just type in /wild. Now this server is a survival server with RPG and fantasy elements, so let's jump into the blueprints feature where we can actually build things. Basically the blueprints feature gives us this handy little item called starter house. Basically placing this block will spawn the building, and you can check the blueprints or the wiki for the server to learn more about this. So basically the starter house will build us a small building. When we right click, it will place the house here, and it will show us a preview of where the house is going to be. Now we've placed down our own house blueprints, so we didn't have to build any of this or waste time gathering and actually building our own house. And another thing we can do is we can change the X, the Z, and the up and down values. So we can press up and it will make it float in the sky, or slightly, if we press down, make sure it goes onto the top block, but you can't actually bury it underground. Then we can change the X values, plus and minus, for it to go left and right, or the Z, plus and minus, to go back and forwards. Then when you're happy with placing the blueprint, just press yes in the chat, and it will place down the blueprint. But it will give you a second blueprint, which is the mining camp. What you want to do when you build the first blueprint is do /set home, and then what you can do is you can set your home, but first you must be in a claim to set your land, so you need to make a claim before you set homes on the server. So I'm going to right click and make a little mining camp a little further away from a house. This seems to be a pretty good spot, so we'll do exactly the same as before and place this blueprint down, and the next blueprint we get is the tent. So I'm just going to make the tent over here and make it just a little bit closer to our base because we don't want to build it too far away. And then what we're going to do is we're going to press yes and build that there. Whenever we build one kind of blueprint on the server, we will also get another blueprint for the next building which we need to make. So next up is the stone crusher, so I'm going to place that near the house here, and this is a machine on the server. So the next thing is the stone crusher. Basically what this does is it will actually crush stone for you, so you need to gather stone from survival mode and then put it in the top of the chest, and it will automatically process it into the chest below. I'm just going to mine some really quick stone just to show you how it works. As you can see, the top chest you want to place the stone in, which we've got cobblestone, and you can see it's going down, and when we look in the other chest it will process it into a few different materials. If you have a big stack of cobblestone, for an example, you'll get loads of different things. You might even get different types of ores like lapis lazuli and coal, and even redstone and iron as well. So this will crush it down into a lot of useful different items which you can use for crafting. Now the starter pack includes a chest, it includes a starter kit sword, and a set of chainmail armor which we can shift click and just place on our player, or we just scroll to the item and right click and it'll wear the items too. So that's what the starter kit is that the server gives you. So we've got a chest, we also have some pumpkin pie, and we have a sword and armor set, as well as this pirate ship blueprint which is absolutely awesome. I'm going to show you that a little bit later too. So I'm going to show you some more kits. So if we do /kit, I will do kit peasant for an example. It'll give us a full stone toolkit with some baked potatoes, more food, and a claiming tool which is going to let us right click the corners to claim land. So this is how we make our own plot. Then we can also try the other kit. So kit boat will give us a boat that we can just use, just a normal dark oak boat to sail around in. And kit hireling will also give us some stuff over here. So we have a full leather armor set and a bed, so we can just place this in our room, and with that kit we just basically have a free bed to place in our house too, which is super cool. This is obviously an RPG server, so the hireling kit is if you want to be some kind of bounty hunter or something. Kit portal, which will give us a free portal, which we'll cover later, and kit book will give us a portal book too, which we will use for that process. Then there's the kit stick, which we can use, which will just give us one stick. I'm not sure how many times we can replicate that, but I think you can do the kit every 1 minute for a free stick. Usually when you join the server you will get a book which tells you how to claim, but if you do the kit which I showed you and you get the claiming tool, basically on the server you will get 2 claim blocks per minute for free as you play. So the longer you play, the bigger your claim can actually be. So I'm going to show you how to use this claiming stick, because first of all we're going to need to claim our land on the server. And if you already have an existing claim, which I do, you can do /abandon claim, which will actually undo your previous claim so you can build the first one. So I'm going to click on the corner, which I did before. And as you can see it says claim created, and then you can do /trust and then a player name if you want to let people build in there. So now I've made my claim, what I should be able to do is go inside my house now, do /set home, and now we have the spawn point, so I can type in /home and teleport back into our house in just a few moments. Now we have a home point set which we can go to and from. So let's now go to spawn using /spawn and check out some of the buildings. So as you can see we're now in the spawn point called Valgard spawn, and this is where all the buildings are which are going to be useful for the player. All the buildings in the spawn point all have signs on so you know exactly what they're for. We have the dungeon room here where we can go to dungeons. Then we have the help room which has the Discord and helpful signs, the vote station where you can vote for the server, and a lot of other areas like the Tinkerer, which we'll be using momentarily to show you some features. This is where you can get all the blueprints from, which I'm going to show you how to do. Then we have the transmutation place, the store, the clan shop because we can set up our own clans, and an area to obtain more ships, and the ranking where all the best players have their ranks and score, as well as over here we have the markets area too, where we can go buy things and interact with the server's economy by going through the portal. portal. The Tinkerer is one of the most important buildings, so the blueprints like what we showed you earlier, such as the ship blueprint and all the buildings, you can get more of them over here at the Tinkerer, as well as access some of the pre-placed machines here, which has the ore crusher which we had before, along with some other machines like the auto crafting device which you can use in the spawn without having to have one yourself at your base in survival mode. So this is the first machine, and basically if we right click on the ender frame, you can see this is kind of like a market block where we can make trades. So if we have the aether fragments, which are the main currency on the server, we can trade those for a mob despawner, which creates a device block that disables the mob spawns around of it. And as you can see, this aether fragment here is the main currency of the server, which you can get from things like when you use the ore crusher to crush stone, or from doing PvP on the server. There's so many different ways that you can actually obtain these fragments. Further down inside this building, you'll see a few different images down here. This area is where we can actually get more blueprints from buildings. These buildings are from admin made blueprints, and players can also make their own too. There's some really cool fancy themed builds over here. If people don't like to build, or they're not very creative minded, but they want to have a really cool looking base, you can actually buy these blueprints for a pre-build plan for your base that looks really cool. So for an example, if I wanted one of these blueprints, I could just go to one of these stations and right click on the ender block frame, and it would actually bring up all the trades to get these blueprints. So as you can see, it's from top to bottom, and you can refer to the images. The alchemist tower and the barracks, for an example, they're all labeled when you look at them, so you know exactly which one you're supposed to buy, and it will show you what you need. So we have aether fragments here, common and greater, so it shows you all the items you need to trade in order to get the blueprint from. I want to show you this blueprint, which is the ships on the server, which we can use to actually sail. We're going to need a big body of water to create one of these, so I'm going to show you them on the ocean. Okay, so as you can see, I'm right next to a huge body of water which is on the ocean here, so we can test spawning this pirate ship blueprint. So if we just right click on the water, it will create the huge big blueprint for the pirate ship, which is completely constructed already, and we just use the same controls that we did before to move it closer and further out from the water so that we can actually get ready to actually get on the ship. And here we go, this is the pirate ship when it's being constructed. As you can see, here is the ship when you actually get on top of it. So we have a few different controls like cruise mode, which we can turn on and off, and we can go down into the ship's hull here to see what's below. So I'm guessing you could place things like chests and items down here for storage in your very own boat. Now this is why you should probably build your house next to an ocean on the server, so you actually have an area where you can dock your ship. If you make a dock, then you can have your ship ready to go, but this is completely away from a house, so I've not picked the best place to place this. So as you can see, we can actually pilot the ship by right clicking on it, and then we can use a golden hoe to right click, and we can actually move the ship forwards using this sign. So when we right click with the right direction, it will actually move the boat. We can also turn the ship too. As you can see, it has actually moved far away from the shore, so we know that it's actually working. And if we click on cruise on or off, it will automatically let the boat move. Just jumps forward blocks because we are in vanilla Minecraft, not in a modded game, but our ship is actually slowly venturing out into the ocean. So once you have the right rank, you can actually pilot the ships and sail on the seas. So this is how the ship system works on the server. It's really cool that we can actually sail along on the sea, and obviously when it hits blocks on the shoreline, it will probably automatically stop, although we can turn off cruise mode, which will mean that the ship won't automatically move by itself, and then we can dock that up onto the shoreline. Now if you want to teleport on the server, you can use the /TP command, but there's a custom way that we can actually teleport on the server. So next I'm going to cover the portal system. So to access portals, you just use /kit portal, and it'll give you a portal book as well as a portal frame. It will give you a standard portal, but I have a few different frames, so I'm going to show you them. Basically there's the portal, the blackstone portal, the rainbow portal, and the big portal, which donator players will get. So I'm just going to place the standard portal down, and as you can see, there needs to be enough space to actually place it because right now some blocks are in the way. So we are going to actually put it into a small area, and it needs to be in the area where your claim is too. And as you can see, now I've placed a portal. So if I wanted to add a portal address to teleport to my home, what I would do is I type in /portal name and then just call it the Blue Crusader for an example. And then I would right click on this portal and then it names that to the Blue Crusader. So now I have the Blue Crusader's portal book, which I can use to teleport directly to my portal. Now I'm going to show you how to use portal books because I can use this to teleport to other people's portals too. Portals can only be placed in your claim in the wild area. in the wilderness. These portals are basically used in your base and are uniquely named so that people can travel to and from your base. This is why you shouldn't share the name of your portal with other players. Now mine's pretty obvious because it's just the Blue Crusader. If you have valuable stuff in your base, you don't want to tell people what your portal name is because then they can travel to your base without your consent. Get a portal book which you get from the kit and right click on it and you select where you want to teleport. So I could type in Valgard, I could select Valgard for an example, and then right click the portal book into the lectern and then right click again and press take book, and that has set the destination to the city of Valgard, and then I just step into the portal and it teleports me into the city's place. So this is really cool. We can also do this in the spawns teleport if I want to go back to my base. So I put my portal book in there and then we could select any teleports in our book, but you can see my teleport is not listed in my book. So I type in /pbook add and then the name of the portal which I want to add to my book, which is the Blue Crusader, and we need to be holding the book while we do this. So once we've done that, now if I right click and go onto my book, I should have the Blue Crusader here, and then I can take this book out of the lectern and we go through here and it'll teleport me to my home, so other players can do this to go into my base. So in the server hub there's a building called the Dungeons building, and if we go through there's a portal inside and this takes us straight to the dungeon hub. So what we do is we just jump straight through this portal and it will teleport us over here. Now this place has a swords vendor, so there's special swords which all have unique 3D modeled appearances to them which look really nice, and this is where you will obviously find all the swords which you can obtain. This is so you can actually view all of the gear which you can use to actually fight within dungeons. This resource pack looks really nice and the swords look really unique on the server instead of the normal vanilla swords. Now although I did call this guy the sword vendor, you don't actually buy the swords from him, you will actually obtain these from doing the dungeons, so these are all special loot drops from actually participating in the dungeons. Dungeons are really fun because there's a few different dungeons. There's the starter dungeon over here, so from left to right is the lowest difficulty and it gets harder as far as we go. So we even have special alchemist wizard dungeons, we have pirate dungeons on pirate ships with cool interesting names on them, and even a really hard mode vampire dungeon which is really cool too. And each of these dungeons have custom loot, arrows showing you where to go, and custom bosses with unique names, loot drops and triggers to them, so when you defeat them they'll open doors or things will actually happen inside the dungeon. As you can see right here, I have full enchanted netherite armor, which is a lot higher than the tier you'll start off with when you do dungeons, but this is just to showcase what all of them look like. Obviously there's different special items which you can drop from dungeons, so this legendary weapon Zulu is a really awesome example of a really powerful sword on the server, along with this shield which has a custom model to the normal Minecraft shield and looks super awesome. So now we're going to run into a dungeon and show you what the dungeons are like on the server. Even the bow item has a custom model. We can use it as a slingshot. As you can see, this appears as a slingshot that shoots flaming arrows on it, which is actually just a bow with custom enchantments on it. At the start of every single dungeon, it will also show the loot table of which items will drop from each dungeon, which is shown as a table on the start. Usually it's a combination of different weapons, items like the bat wings which acts as a shield, or certain other enchanted armor pieces or books. As you can see, this portal called a armour, we can go through this, and this is where we can actually access the active open world PvP on the server. This is a PvP event zone where PvP is always on, where all players can fight each other in a huge open world landscape. You can see this place looks absolutely awesome. It's created out of prismarine and ice blocks for kind of like a crystal forest landscape, and basically you have to capture points inside this place and battle other players at the same time. Now, the way that this is different from a lot of other servers is it's completely open, so you can just drop into it like an open world battleground when you actually go through the portal. And this is the capture zone in the middle, which is highlighted by the beacon light coming from the chest. And when you go onto it, it will actually start capturing the points. So at the top there's a huge progress bar which is actually expanding, and you can see that it's actually capturing this minor capture point under my player's name, and obviously other players can fight me to contest for this point. There is actually a clan system on the server, so if you would have banners, it would actually take the colour of that clan when capturing the point, and it would feed into the server's clan system. So this is just a quick look at the point capturing and some of the battlegrounds on the server. And that concludes the end of this server review. So this is the CraftCitizen Minecraft survival server, which is an RPG server that you should definitely check out and go play on now. The IP is obviously on screen and in the description, and you can check out the Discord on the link in the description below as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.